How's it going, YouTube? This is your the Free One, bringing you my top 5 of the Serge Lutens Exploration series. So before I begin, I just want to make a couple points as to what the series was all about. These were mainly focused on the non-export fragrances of the Serge Lutens house. I don't know if I got all of them. I know I got the majority of them though, and I know there was a couple fragrances that are kind of odd that may be going in that direction. The first one is Vetiver Oriental, and funny enough, had someone comment on one of my videos mentioning it, and turns out now on Lucky Scent you can actually buy Vetiver Oriental. They just re-released it again for like $200 for a 50 ml bottle. I don't know if that's going to stay or if that's going to be something they're just doing for a little while. You know, I don't know if it's a limited time, but as of this video, Lucky Scent is selling it, so it's not really considered non-export, I guess, right now. Although a couple of fragrances I don't consider non-export either. And a couple other ones were Rousse, Louve, and Santal Blanc, which I don't know if they're just in the bell jars now or getting close to it. I know there's some websites I saw that did carry them in the sprayers for around, the retail of 150. I'll have links down below for all those fragrances I just mentioned, because they're kind of in one of those weird inconspicuous spots, really. Like, they're probably going to be non-export, but they aren't at the moment of this video. Now, let me start this with my number 5 pick. This is going to go from my least favorite to my most favorite, but they're in top 5, so they're all favorites of mine in some way. So number 5 was a bit of a tricky one for me. I wasn't sure which one it was going to be, but I felt like this one that I picked is a good choice because it has a note that I don't really care much for. Well, I shouldn't say I don't care much for it, but it's something that is very hit and miss on me. And it takes this note and it really adds depth, and it makes it feel like it's from the 80s, like those old masculine rose powerhouses and such. And this one is going to be Rose de Nuit, and this is a really well done fragrance. If I had to pick a rose fragrance, recently that I've smelled, this would definitely be high on the list, next to Richwood. But this is a really well done fragrance. It has that very prominent beeswax note in this. It's more animalic than regular honey, but it has that really nice sweet animalic texture to it, kind of like you'd find in leather oud, which also beeswax is prominent in. And with that, you got this really well done rose. It's not necessarily dirty, it's dusty and maybe a little bit dirty, but it's almost like kind of like a potpourri kind of rose to me the more I smell it. It's just really well done though. This is a really well done fragrance, and that's why I had to put it as my number 5, because it takes a note that I don't care much for and it really just amps it up and makes it awesome. So that's my number 5 pick. And then number 4 is actually going to be similar to that. Like, it takes a note that I normally don't like and just really makes it awesome and shows what that note can do, in my opinion. And this one also features leather and like holiday spices, kind of like nutmeg and cinnamon. And with that, you got white florals like neroli, and I think there's some jasmine in here. This one's gonna be Cuir Mauresque, and I put this at my number 4 because when I first smelled it, it was awesome. It's really different from anything I've smelled before. It's very unique. When you smell it, you'll be like, okay, this is something I haven't smelled before. And I haven't smelled Cuir Carnage by Dior. I heard that they may actually have similarities. Actually, I did smell it once, but it was a quick sniff at a department store. But Cuir Mauresque is really well done because it has this nice cinnamon, nutmeg kind of holiday spiciness to it on the top of this very creamy white floral that isn't indolic or just kind of weird soapy or anything. It's just nice and creamy, which is something that I like. And it definitely does have a leather note in there. Unlike when I said when I initially smelled this fragrance in the Exploration series, it's just very plush, not like, animalic or, motorcycle jacket or like a Tuscan leather kind of fragrance. Nothing like that. It's just a very soft, supple kind of leather that I think gives more depth to the white florals and the fragrance in general, really. But it's a really well done fragrance, and this is definitely one I have to get in my collection at some point in the future, and that's why it's my number 4 pick. Now number 3. This is one I haven't really heard much about, and I know it's just in the bell jar, so it's probably a good reason why. This is a fragrance that really reminds me of kind of like a classic kind of masculine smell with some modern touches in it. With tonka, a really well done smooth tonka, not a syrupy, cloying tonka. Nice lavender, not medicinal, but more so fresh and just encompassing the fragrance to make it more, just more fresh, and it feels like a fragrance that could be used easily in any season. I mean, I don't go by seasons, but if you were to, I would say this is something that you could wear all year round. And I think it's very versatile in terms of occasion as well. And this one is going to be no other than Fourreau Noir. And this is a top-notch scent. This is definitely one I have to get in my collection. It just really mixes well with the tonka and the lavender. Those are the key players in this. If you don't like tonka or lavender, then you may not like this. But I would still say just give it a sniff. Just check it out, see what you think about it. It's just really smooth. I think mingles more with the notes, and there's a slight powdery accord, but nothing like actual powder related. It's a really well done fragrance, and I definitely suggest that you check it out. Fourreau Noir. Now, number 2. This was a hard one. Between number 2 and number 1, they're kind of honestly on the same level. They're just that good to me, and I hate to pick and choose between the two of them because I just can't. It's really hard to choose. But number 2 is the one I have on the way right now as of this video, and that's because you can find this one pretty cheap in comparison to the rest of the fragrances in this line. And this one is known very well in the fragrance community. You probably already know what I'm going to say before you even hear the name. And of course, I'm just going to say it outright. This one is Chergui. And this one is just a really, really well done fragrance. It was mastered, executed perfectly in every form, in my opinion. Now, this, although I don't hear about this online much, I'm going to say this. Chergui shares similarities with Shalimar, which is no problem with me because I love that fragrance as well. And also, it exhibits some similarities to By Kilian's Amber Oud. And I mean that in terms of the amber quality in this fragrance. As I've smelled this more from the video I did for the Exploration series, I do get more of an amber note in this than I originally did. The amber is mixed perfectly with the honey. I would say maybe that the amber, normally amber is used with labdanum, benzoin, and vanilla. I feel like maybe they took out vanilla and just put in the honey, or even took out the labdanum, because I don't get labdanum in this fragrance at all. So I think this is like a honeyed amber, basically. With that honeyed amber, you're gonna have some sweet tobacco in there. More so at the opening, you have sweet tobacco and hay, which really combines to make this really aromatic, not necessarily dry a green accord, but it's not herbal at all. It's just like wind just blowing through the fields or something like that. It's a very interesting opening, but it smells so good, the opening. And as it dries down, it just gets more in depth with that honey. It turns really like dark, kind of like a dark honey, but not like back to black kind of honey, which can kind of get like a baby powder accord. This never veers in any of those directions. It just maintains that honeyed amber with a light touch of incense, which is why I kind of get Shalimar. I think Chergui has the most comparisons to the mid of Shalimar, the mid notes. In 10 minutes to about 2 hours, you're going to get a very Shalimar-esque kind of fragrance with this very soft leather as well. This does have like a leather kind of note in there, but it's very like just very low in the spectrum of actually being able to smell it. I think it's more so to give depth, kind of like how Cuir Mauresque is. And you got that leather with a touch of incense. It seems like the incense used in this is kind of similar to Shalimar too. It's not a churchy incense to me. It's not even smoky, but it has just like a very ethereal, I think. So well done. If you like Shalimar, I would definitely suggest you check it out if you haven't already. Of course, this is very big in the fragrance community for a reason. And as of this video, you can get a 1.7 ounce sprayer on Fragrance Net for around $60. So in terms of like the other fragrances in this line, which most of them are in the bell jars for $310, you can get this for $60, and that's insane because of the quality of this fragrance far exceeds that price, and I can't wait to have it in my collection. Now, number one, as I said, these two are pretty much, you know, exchanged them out in terms of the top kind of spot in my list. Number one is a patchouli and cacao fragrance. Of course, you probably know which one I'm already talking about. It needs no introduction. This one is going to be Borneo 1834. And this one made my top list because I love patchouli. I'm a huge fan of patchouli. I think it's just such a great note in fragrances. And I'm not a hippie or anything, but if that's what, you know, they wore back in the 60s, and gotta say, wouldn't hate it. It's just a really well done natural patchouli in this fragrance, and it's softened by this very, I don't want to say sweet, but this very kind of slightly powdery, slightly sweet cacao note in here. And that's pretty much what you're going to get. It's pretty linear, but it just blends. Actually, as it dries down, it does blend even more to me. And you're left with a semi-gourmand, earthy fragrance. Combines them to make an awesome fragrance. I can't really describe it any better than that. Like I said, if you like patchouli, though, definitely check this one out because it's worth it. That's all I got for you guys. This was my top 5 from my Serge Lutens Exploration videos. And let me know what your top 5 were from the line. And that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, please like and comment on my videos. I do frequently respond to comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and expect more content in the near future. I'll probably be uploading a couple more Fragrant Thoughts videos in the near future. So I hope you guys wait to check that out. And I'll be back to you soon.